Hello, welcome back to Scene by Few. This week we're doing a new to the scene for the Obi Wan season TV miniseries, whatever you want to call it, that just came out.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure most people have probably seen it at this point.
Hopefully, I mean,
But
we'll give our scores before we get into spoilers at least. So I'm Nick.
Lance?
All right, so do we want to get right into impressions? I mean, were you looking forward to the Obi Wan series?
So I was. I like Ewan McGregor a lot, and I think he embodies a lot of Sir Alec Guinness's mannerisms in the show. So I think he was like just a brilliant person to cast for that role. It felt like it was one of those ones where like it was rumored, and I thought it was like a bullshit rumor for the longest time.
No, I kind of believed it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, anyone would be swayed by money. If Disney gave me enough money to be like, would you like to be Obi-Wan in this new show? As much as a fan of Star Wars, I mean, I'm like, fuck yes, I want to be Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I will do it awfully, but give me money.
That's true. I mean, I imagine with a certain amount of money, like Disney could approach like Sylvester Stallone and be like, "We want you to do a live action Jar Jar Binks," and he'd be like, I don't know if I want to do that." And then they'd be like, "Here's $1 billion. Me's going to play this role." So that's a good point. So, but yeah, what I was surprised about was, well, I guess that's a spoiler.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, going into this one, I was looking forward to Obi-Wan. And that was like, I was really hoping they were going to put it on like May 4th, but I guess they waited until the Star Wars Celebration, which isn't on May 4th.
Which just feels weird.
You've got the marketing right there.
Yeah.
The fans did it for you.
Yeah, the fans like basically they popped the ball up. All you had to do was spike it.
Yeah, they invented a holiday for you, Star Wars. What are you doing?
Yeah, like it's one we beat Hallmark to, I guess.
Well, then it wouldn't overlap with Miss Marvel, which seems like bad marketing on their part.
So I thought that was weird because whenever we went to go look for like the Obi Wan episodes, I saw the Miss Marvel thing and it was just I thought it was just like an advertisement, like it's coming kind of a thing.
No, but it's full on out.
Yeah,
They had 3 other Obi-Wan episodes coincide with 3 other Miss Marvels. Same exact day as well.
yeah, and I've been hearing rumors that like Miss Marvel's not been doing well in the ratings, but it's like
Were they expected to?
well, I mean, you put it up against Obi Wan.
Obi-Wan and this week also the Doctor Strange got put up on the exact same days that
That's
Obi-Wan.
And then you have The Boys, Stranger Things,
Yeah.
like a lot of stuff basically just came out all at the same time. So, but we'll talk about that.
But it's just kind of an interesting decision for all that fun stuff. But I think we plan to talk about Miss Marvel at some point
I
once it actually wraps up and we get through it all.
I would like to know what's coming out next because I don't know. I mean, I would think that would play into them rushing that one out.
I don't know what's next.
Because like Obi-Wan would go off, and then there'd be like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a month before the next thing came on, and then
Well, I think they're wrapping up their quarter, so they just wanted to like shove everything out now, try to get as much money in as possible, so that they can be like, look, our quarter was amazing, rather than wait until you finish your one series, so you're not stepping on your own feet.
yeah, okay,
All right, so I guess it's the preamble to Obi-Wan.
yeah. So
All right, so I guess I'll give my number for it, and then he'll guess, and then your number, and then
I'm gonna predict I'm one off.
I mean, it's been a running theme.
So I'm intentionally since we drew on these cards like in Sharpie, like I'm intentionally covering this so you're not like I'm gonna throw him a pity.
Well, that's why I set my phone on the thing, because you could read through the back and go, at least I know one number that he didn't pick.
Yeah.
And I keep mine in numerical order so that they're easy to flip through.
Yeah, no, we predicted each other on the same thing on that because like most of the time I put my phone over, but now I've got like the cast up and everything. So
Don't worry, I'm not going to change my thing just because I saw a number there or didn't see a number. I didn't see it. I'm not gonna like change my number to fit your guess.
no, I've been intentionally keeping my hand over it the entire time. So
All right, so I think I would give Obi-Wan as a series a 6. Are you one off? Look at that, one off.
I'm always one off. Damn it. And I thought about it too. I was like, maybe a 6. And I was like, nah, Nah, this is one he's been looking forward to. Surely this is a 7.
Yeah, just because I'm looking forward to something doesn't mean I like it when it comes out.
Well, I mean, so I know that we intentionally don't talk to each other about things just so we can, so we're not influencing each other, kind of a thing. But like, I could have swore like I was hearing like little bits and bobs from you, where you're like, "Man, this thing was kind of cool."
Yeah, see, it started like this, and then it's going me.
And then
it brought the average down.
Did it shoot back up at the end?
No,
really,
not really.
Okay, we'll have to get into that.
All right, so what about you?
I'm gonna turn the AC down one notch just for you.
Oh, that's good. I live my life in the '60s.
Yeah, well, no, we can't do that around here.
I know.
You don't want to see me walking around nipping through this shirt. So
speak for yourself. All right. What are you giving?
So I would give Obi Wan. See, I've got two numbers bouncing around in my head, and I've waffled back and forth between them. I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna say a 6.
Oh wow, I was way too high. I figured you would give it a 7, but usually you're nicer to things than I am, so I rounded up an entire score.
Oh, I was bouncing back and forth between 6 and 7 because it's like the first episode was good, and then like the second, third, and fourth episode they were just okay. Like there's a lot of exposition and like a lot of like story building and stuff like that, which was fine, and they put some nuggets out there that was really cool.
So shall we, with our numbers out there, shall we start getting into spoilers so we can stop talking in vagaries?
Well, I mean, they should have already known that by now.
Yeah, but yes, every video could be someone's first video. So,
we say that every video.
But if we said it in a previous video, and this is the first video, they wouldn't have heard it.
Oh, well, spoilers.
So it's the time to reach the thing and hit the pause button. Or if you're on your phone, just go, just pause.
But before you hit the pause button, hit the like, subscribe, share, and then make a comment. And since I realized that you're stopping this video because you haven't seen it, and I'm asking you to make a comment, you can be like, "The fuck am I doing here?" That'd be a fine comment. We'll answer it. So, but yeah, spoilers, go away.
All right. So 6-episode series. I think it started out interesting because it was like Obi Wan being like, I guess, just defeated and kind of disappointed in life, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is interesting. This is what I want to see. I want to see Obi Wan doing stuff, and then like Leia gets kidnapped, and I'm like, I don't want to see Leia. And then so the show is what I want to see, like compressed, but around stuff I don't want to see.
I mean, what'd you think the show was going to be?
Like Obi Wan
doing what?
I don't know, something
Just sitting at
pulled him off
six episodes of him sitting at a bar and people walking by and him just like, "Hello there."
Well, I thought it was. I knew the Inquisitors were going to be a thing. I thought they would have been sniffing around Tatooine, and then it was Obi-Wan like going off planet or just trying to lead them away. Like maybe they were on Tatooine and looking for Force-sensitive youth, as the Inquisitors are to do.
Yeah.
So he was there to try to lead them away from planet to like defeat them. Not like I'm sad and defeated. I'm never going to leave my planet. Well, Leia got kidnapped. Yeah, sucks for you. And then he shows up on like, what's his name? Jimmy Smits shows up on his like, seriously, dude, come on. He's like, all right, I'll go on an adventure. And then it's I don't want to see little Leia. I don't want to see little Luke. I don't want to see little Boba Fett. I don't want to see little Darth Vader. I don't want to see kid versions of characters already like. The prequels did it, and I didn't like it, and now we're doing it here, and I don't like it either.
Did I miss Kid Boba and Kid
in the prequels?
Darth Vader?
In the prequels. Like,
I guess there were flashbacks.
No, I just mean like when the prequels were made, and they were like, "Do you want to see Anakin Skywalker as a kid? No. Do you want to see Boba Fett as a kid? No, I don't want to see Boba Fett.
You
as a
would
kid.
not have gotten the epic. Now this is podcast. This is podcasting.
Now this is podcasting.
You wouldn't have gotten the epic.
Now
this is pod racing.
I think I would have been better for it.
You wouldn't have gotten Sebulba.
That's probably better.
He was awesome.
There's stuff I like in the prequels, but the kid version of everyone, I'm not into it. I don't want to see younger versions of people.
Yeah,
and that's why, like, when the Clone Wars series came out, and they're like, "Hey, look, here's Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt has a little kid. They're gonna name him Stinky or whatever the fuck it is." I don't want to see it.
You know, I need to go back and watch those. And now that you said stuff like that, I'm dreading it.
The Clone Wars series starts out roof.
And that's what somebody got when I was driving Uber one night. Some dude, we just like started chit chatting. I think I had like Star Wars something in the car, and he's like, "Have you seen Rebels?" And I was like, "Yeah, we watched Rebels." And he's like, "Oh man, so good, so good." He's like, "Have you seen Clone Wars?" And I was like, "No, I haven't started watching." He's like, "Oh my god, dude! Oh, it's so good." And I was like, I don't want to hear Snips and Sky Guy and all this shit. And he was like, "Oh no, you get past that.
It stops doing that,
and it gets amazing." And it's like, that's the same with what James has been telling me about Deep Space Nine. Like, I've been watching Deep Space Nine, and almost every week for a while there, he's like, "So what episode you on?" And I was like, "I'm on this one." He's like, "Oh, just keep going." And I'm like, "Okay."
Just trudge through the swamp.
Yeah. And then I got like halfway through the third season, and I was like,
when does it get good?
yeah, I said, I don't know if I could do it anymore. And he's like, "Just get past the third season." I was like, fuck, I feel like you're just going to string me along season by season, but...
It's rough to ask for a season, I think. And I know, like, we won't go into Good Place details necessarily, but when I was selling Good Place to you guys, I'm like, finish the first season, and, like, the first season's okay, but then the finale of season 1 retroactively makes everything that you just watched that much better.
It makes it amazing.
And then from then on, the show is is great.
Yeah, but that's weird. Like, to me, that's a weird format, dude. I think what's what makes it wonderful, because there's a lot of people out there that probably started watching that show and they're like, "It's too fucking weird for me," and they stopped.
Yeah, I mean, that's I saw like an episode out of order, out of context, and that's a show that's like, it is one story from episode 1 to the finale, and you got to watch it all in order, which is a hard ask, I think.
No, yeah. I mean, we started watching it because you were like, "You need to watch this show," and Amber and I popped it on, and we got for the first 3 episodes, and I was just like,
yeah, it's whatever.
You know, like, she was the only person to really watch the show for, and Ted Danson just being goofy Ted Danson. And then you get to the season finale, and it does what it does, and you're just like, and you go back and you watch the episodes again, you're like, that's great.
Yeah, much better. So asking a full season, like 3 seasons, like just get through 3 seasons. That's so rough. I don't know that I could do that.
It is a big ask, but like, he's been telling me enough about it to where I've been trying to go back into it again, but it's like, I agree with you. It's just, there are certain characters it's just like, I don't want to see them. But that said, I was fine with Princess Leia.
I wasn't, not really.
Okay.
So I didn't like Princess Leia. I didn't. Some of the stuff he was doing with her was interesting, but I didn't want to see little Leia. I didn't want to really see. I wasn't super interested in Reva, but I think that's mainly because I played Jedi Fallen Order and I thought Trilla was better.
Right.
And Reva seems like a discount Trilla. And well, then they also threw the at the very beginning, they throw out the younglings in the temple as it's getting assaulted, and then they cut away from it, and then later, like, "Oh no, Reva's a youngling." It's like, yeah, no shit.
Well, yeah, we were kind of saying
like,
the same thing.
Don't put that shit at the beginning if you want that to be a moment. And then because they put that thing earlier, it made her being like, was a young. Yeah, no shit. It's not a moment anymore. You ruined that moment. Stop it.
But I mean, I feel like sometimes people overthink things. Like, if a series would have started out with Luke Skywalker eating a banana peanut butter sandwich, everyone's going to be like, when's the fucking banana peanut butter sandwich going to be relevant later on? And then, like, in the 5th episode, Vader slips on it, which gives Luke the upper hand. Like,
you don't have to start with you could start with the Inquisitors or something. I mean, you don't have to start with a past scene, a past reveal that's going to be revealed later, but you already know it because they revealed it too soon. And I think that just takes the oomph out of it. And then also, like, the reveal that, like, she got stabbed in the chest as a kid and just laid under the corpses. I mean, that sounds brutal and all, but, like, if you see, like, did you see what lightsabers do to doors? Like, you stick a lightsaber in a door and it cooks around. Yeah. And then later she gets stabbed in the chest and it's like, I got stabbed in the chest. I'm fine though. It's just a lightsaber. Like, what the fuck was Qui-Gon doing? He got stabbed in the chest. It was a brief stab.
Yeah, but, like, it was good, and it was like right in the solar plexus.
I think Reva got fucking hit in the, like, it wasn't, she didn't get hit like
Reva got hit, like, right around here, which I guess would be
the very vital liver and kidney area.
Well, I mean, I think that's all, like, over here or something.
You got 2 kidneys.
I think right here is like the stomach or something.
Your stomach's up in here. Like,
so she got stabbed probably in the same place when she was a kid. Okay,
okay.
just follow me. Just follow me.
How convenient.
So she got stabbed in that place when she was a kid, which destroyed her stomach. And then they gave her a robot stomach, which took away some of her humanity and pushed her towards the dark side, if you go by the old school game.
Yeah.
And then Darth Vader, later on, went to stab her in the same place, but it just went right through the same hole.
If they had little sparks or something like that come flying up, maybe I would buy it. But it's too convenient.
You know, I think if you go back and watch it, you could see the sparks.
I don't think so.
No, I think that might be a thing. But I'm just saying, like, it's like Death Becomes Her when Goldie Hawn throws the thing at Meryl Streep and it goes through the hole that's already in her stomach. And it was like, and she was like, ha! And then she realized it didn't touch her because it went through the hole. And she's like, oh shit! Like it just went right back through the same hole.
It's like when you're immortal, it just goes right through the same hole. I wasn't into it. It's just because it seemed like we also got the episode where they go to the Fortress Inquisitorium or whatever. And I'm like, this is just Jedi Fallen Order but worse. So I don't know. There was a bunch of things that got hopped, like just taken from different things, and be like, we're going to use this, and we're just going to use this, and cram it all in here. And like I liked it when I was eating it first. I don't like the leftovers.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. I still think the only reason for any of these shows is to build upon future movies and make Black Series figures. Because as soon as like Obi Wan came out, Hasbro immediately dropped figures.
Yeah. I mean, these shows are like, you don't make your money off of Disney people subscribing to Disney Plus.
No.
It's you make the money off of making them things that kids want to buy, or like you want to put on a shirt, for instance, or whatever.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's a channel on YouTube. It's guys, they're called the Warp Zone, I believe. And one of their bits is the Netflix owner going to talk to, I guess it's Bob Iger or whoever he is, the Disney exec. And he's just like, hey, we're going to go through this online streaming thing. And the Disney guy's just like, no, we're going to make a better product and we're going to sell it cheaper so we can slowly choke you out. And then finally, when you're on your knees and you're forced to sell to us, then that's when I take everything from you. And it's like, bro, I thought we were being cool. He's like, no. He's like, we're Disney. We have all the money. Like we could run it at a loss for 20 years,
Yeah.
So Netflix, they need to get on that because, like this last season of Stranger Things, they've seen pops. I've seen comic books, posters. So they are doing stuff about getting merchandise. So that
You need the merchandising.
There's a fucking flashlight. Like there's an Energizer flashlight that they're selling that has the Gorgon on it, which I just thought was a weird idea. So let's make 11 nosebleed tabs. Okay, let's do it. How about flashlights? They use flashlights in the show. Let's do that. So I just thought it was an odd choice, but I'm probably gonna buy one because it looks like an old school flashlight from the '80s that has like a 300 lumen bulb in it or something like that. So
I don't begrudge things making money off merchandise.
I don't either. It's just
so them making cool figures or whatever is fine, but I even think Reva's outfit was Trilla's outfit. Sans the helmet.
They probably all dress that way. Like that's probably the sister's garb.
It's just,
and the Inquisitor garb is the Inquisitor garb, just like Stormtroopers. You're not gonna have like one Stormtrooper walking out with like the rainbow shoulder thingy and like, I think when you're in a particular unit, you have the uniform.
I don't know. It's just I wasn't super invested into Reva. Mainly because I'd said, I'd seen Trilla, and then they spoiled her storyline a bit too soon. And then she is fine from a stab wound, and then she sees a little thing like something about a boy on Tatooine. Yeah, I'm on Tatooine now, and perfectly healthy. Which means she took that stab wound, found a ship. Because do you think like Vader left her a ship when he left the planet?
Wasn't she just on the same ship she's been cruising around in the whole time?
Why would they leave that there though?
No, he probably didn't crush it. He's like, that bitch is dead, so he just dipped.
It's the stormtroopers need a ship to leave too. I don't think you just leave. Just leave a ship here and then just go about your business. And then she gets on the ship and flies there faster than, because the next episode starts. She's on Tatooine. The thing is, if I don't like it, I'm pulling threads. If I like a thing, I'll overlook it. But it starts off the next episode with her on Tatooine and Vader chasing Obi Wan, which means she had like during that like little time for a Death Star or for a Star Destroyer to chase a tiny little ship, she went to a ship. She flew all the way to Tatooine. She got off. She's like, I wonder where Owen lives. I'm gonna ask around. Found out where Owen lives. Went to where that walked to where that shit is. So she walked to the Dune Sea. It's all while getting shot at by it's.
So
I'm not feeling it.
I'll submit this. Mm-hmm. So when she stabbed the Grand Inquisitor.
Yep.
And then he showed up later.
Yeah, that was dumb.
And he said, "Revenge is I forget what the line was, but it was like revenge is a strong motivator, or something like that. To like keep basically it kept him. Revenge and hate is what kept him alive, so he could get her back. And she's been living off revenge fumes to get close to Vader for what?" 20 years or however old she is in the show.
Well, I hope if my heart explodes, hate will keep me alive.
Yeah, well, okay, so the young Leia and Luke were born at the same time that Anakin and Obi were having their fight. Mm-hmm. And Leia was like 10 in the show, so it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Which means that Reva was probably around 14, so she's around 24 in the show, in that area. Don't write angry comments because I don't know.
No.
So she's already been biting her lip for 10 years trying to get close to this motherfucker. Mm-hmm. And she finally got close to him. She fails. Mm-hmm. She gets stabbed in the gut, and then she gets talked smack to by the guy that she tried to take out. So I will give you this. It was a little contrived. That it seems like lightsabers are a little weaker these days, but like what, 1, 2, 3 people got stabbed with lightsabers, and they're just like, they Dragon Wars that shit.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying because you think like you put a lightsaber in a person. Do you just like take it out exactly the same way you put it in? It's like just stab a person, like flick it out, you stab a person. I mean, like all these stab wounds to the chest should be a lot more like fatal and various other dirt. So I mean, Qui-Gon at least got stabbed in the chest, and he dies. So cool. But the Grand Inquisitor gets stabbed in the chest. He's like, no, it's just my non-vital torso. It's not like everything about us is protecting our torso and head or anything like that. Fuck that shit.
I've never understood why people just don't like press the hilt of a lightsaber with people and just pop the lightsaber.
Well, they at least do that in the sequel trilogy. For as much as I don't like it, like when Rey throws Kylo the thing and he like pops on and off real quick and just like bores a hole in one of the guys' heads.
Yes,
that's interesting and a new way to use a lightsaber.
For some reason, I'm remembering something like somebody trying to like pop the lightsaber close to somebody, and like they use the Force to basically block it with their palm and like push them back. So yeah, there needs to be more of that.
But I mean, with all that said, at least the fight between Reva and Darth Vader is fucking cool.
Yes.
When he was just kind of like, he didn't even ignite his own lightsaber.
Yeah, he's
like
just
she's coming at him. He's just like,
and he's just pimp shopping around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anakin he's over the top powerful, and then he becomes Vader, and it's like, okay, let's Super Saiyan Goku this motherfucker. But I think my favorite part of the series is when Obi Wan was just kind of like, we're not brothers anymore. There's no master pupil thing here anymore. So I'm just going to put the fucking ass whipping on you. Because in the flashbacks, he's like, you need to control your rage. And Anakin's just like, well, rage gets shit done for me. And then Obi-Wan put the smackdown on him. That was my favorite part. Like the hailstorm. That part was fucking dope. Because like Vader's just like, one thing, a couple of things. And like fucking Obi-Wan's like, the entire valley. And I'm just going to randomly spray you with it. That part was fucking great. And then they did something new with the Force, which is something I liked, with fucking Vader like basically touching the ground and like...
Yeah, the little shockwave thing.
Yeah, that was fucking neat.
That's neat. I mean, so all my complaining aside, I still give the series a 6 because it's got shit I want to see in it. Yeah. I want to see Obi-Wan. I want to see Ewan McGregor back as Obi-Wan. Like Hayden Christian back as Darth Vader. That's interesting. I liked Tala. That kind of...
That was the girl that was helping him out.
Yeah, the Imperial kind of swap.
Played by Indira Varma.
Yeah.
So she was also in Game of Thrones.
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
I know you haven't. That's why I'm letting you know, because someone's probably screaming at the monitor right now. But yeah, she was the mother of the Sand Snakes in Game of Thrones, which means dick all to you. I know. Yeah, but she was Ilaria Sand.
But I thought she was interesting. So that storyline and kind of like what was going on between her and Obi Wan was interesting. I kind of liked like when they got on that one little planet and they hop into the back of the ship and it's just got the Imperial mark on the back of it, and it's just like a friendly neighborhood mole guy, but he's giving rides to stormtroopers and stuff like that. He's, your neighbors aren't your friends necessarily just because they're nice and neighborly.
Voiced by Zach Braff.
Yeah.
Which, this is what I've been waiting to say. So, I've been watching Fake Doctors, or I've been listening to the podcast Fake Doctors Real Friends. It's got Donald Faison and Zach Braff, and then they bring other people from the Scrubs. So, Donald Faison is a fucking maniac when it comes to like wanting to be in Star Wars. And for the longest time, Zach Braff has been telling me, he's like, man, I'll pull some strings and I'll get you on like one of these projects, I'll do something, I'll pull some strings, I'll talk to some people. And then like the next episode, he's like, I've been talking to people, so we'll see what happens. And then that motherfucker gets on Star Wars before Donald Faison does. Even though I think Donald Faison, he's been voiced in some stuff. Then of course he did Black Stormtrooper, which was like, robot chicken stuff. And then like his own little animation that he does at his house. But like Zach Braff, I think will officially get a toy before Donald Faison, which is foul because I haven't listened to Fake Doctors Real Friends in a couple of months. But like now I want to go back and listen to it now that episode's out. Just see like Zach Braff's like, hey Donald, how you doing? Donald's like, I'm fine, motherfucker. Just to see if there's like some sour in that voice now. But I just wanted to say that real quick.
That reminds me of when Bill Burr became Mayfield or whatever. He's got like a friend who met like some baseball guy that he was a big fan of, and but the guy had no idea who he was. He's like, I just met this guy. He's like, that's this guy from this team. He's like, yeah, I don't know who it was. And then that guy who met that baseball guy was a real big fan of Star Wars, and Bill Burr didn't give a shit. He's like, oh yeah, I'm in the Star Wars thing. He's like, you are? I'm like, yeah, I don't even care. I'm not even going to watch the movies.
I think I had heard him tell that story one time before, but I don't remember.
It was, I think, on some podcast, but I saw on YouTube like a little snippet from it or something. It was kind of funny to me.
And I think whoever it was that like got Bill Burr in, I think they made the comment that they liked him in like Breaking Bad, like because he played a really good character in Breaking Bad. It was a bit character, but it was good. So we're gonna go ahead and talk a few things here. So Ewan McGregor, of course, Obi Wan Kenobi. You have Moses Ingram as Inquisitor Reva. I thought she was great.
Yeah, she was good.
And if you hated on her, there's a lot of people who says that she wasn't a good actress. I thought she was fine.
Moses Ingram, yeah, she was fine. She was good.
She acted seething hatred pretty good.
Yeah, she did fine. I just,
you had Vivian Lyra Blair as Leia Organa. I thought she was fine too.
She was okay. I mean, most of the stuff I didn't like was writing and then the way some of the things were shot. Like when she was getting kidnapped and getting chased by like 3 people, and she runs under a thing that's well over her head, and that's the only obscurement, and the person runs up to it and they're like, oh, slight blocking, I'm gonna have to go around. Like, that's, go under it. You're trying to catch her.
That's not her. That's just bad writing.
I know, that's bad writing.
Okay.
So most of my issues with the thing are just like story. Like all the actors are like fine.
Yeah. I thought she was great because she was sassy like Leia was. She was doing little things that...
I think I might have liked to see a bit more fear in there, but that could have been her being directed to be sassy, not afraid. Because, I mean, if you're brought to the Sith Inquisitor stronghold and she's still acting all fucking sassy, like, I'm going to get out of this. Like, everyone's coming for me. And it's... I don't know.
Well, I think...
you can't scare a fucking 10-year-old...
I think she had already figured out at that point it wasn't about her. She was being used to get to Obi Wan. So...
Still, she's 10.
But anyways, I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen, I didn't like him that much as Anakin Skywalker back in the day, but like he was great in this.
Yeah, I wish we'd kind of gotten more of him, but at the same time, I mean, you're not going to get his voice as Vader, really.
You're going to get...
You're going to get James Earl Jones, not Hayden Christensen.
As long as we can keep him, James Earl Jones getting up there.
I don't think much of his voice... Because he sounded young. Which means they did shit to his voice.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, honestly, because you're right, because I think it would have been like, Obi Wan, well, I won't fuck you up, my brother.
Well, I think he did his voice in...
and they tuned it.
In Rogue One, and you can feel the age in it. But then in this one, it felt youthful again, which I don't know if they used AI programming using his voice so that it's not him, but it's like, hey, James Earl Jones, we went to all your movies, recorded every word you've ever said, and put it into a program. Just say more words, and then we'll put them in a program, and then we'll just have an AI say it. Like, after you're dead, you're still going to keep on ticking.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, if they have to hop it like that, it's going to be like, Obi Wan, now I have you.
Oh, have you? I've watched some. There's an interesting one on Corridor Digital. I don't know if you've watched their channel on YouTube where they had an AI voice, and as you pick the thing, and as long as you pronounce it right, it sounds fine.
I think the only thing that I've heard that's close to that was like I think Google did a thing where it's like bots would call you. You could have a bot call like your hairdresser and make an appointment, and it sounds like a person because like if there's dead space and the person's like, "Are you there?" Even like the robot was like, "Uh-huh."
Yeah, I'm here.
You know,
Yeah.
so like I'd watch that and I was like, "Oh fuck, that's scary."
I'll show you something later.
All right, so getting back to it. So you had Sung Kang as fifth brother. So Sung Kang was in, well, at least where I know him from was the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he plays a character in that like it's really funny. He plays Han in that show, and like Amber and we went and saw it, and we were like, oh man, we really like him. And then they gacked his ass in that movie, and we were like, okay, well, I guess we're not going to get used to them. And then in future movies of Fast and the Furious, somehow he's just alive again. So it's like people are like, he's a favorite, so we'll just that shit. I don't know. There's probably some fucking Fast and Furious bro out there right now. It's like screaming at the fucking camera, like, no, Han lived, or it was in the past, or whatever.
I have no idea.
Rupert Friend as the Grand Inquisitor, James Earl Jones, Darth Vader. Kumail Nanjiani as Haja Estri.
I thought his character was interesting.
I loved him.
It's because he seemed like he was a good guy. He was just wanted to be a Jedi.
He was a scoundrel.
So he was kind of a liar, but that didn't stop the fact that he was a good guy. So he was interesting.
So he was
it would be an easy thing just to make him a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But to make him good, but also kind of just a liar. I mean, it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I loved him, but like that dude he's an Eternal. Now he's in Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean,
he's been in Mass Effect.
He's getting fucking piped. Yeah, he's the dude that sits behind
one of the Solarians, I think, in Andromeda.
Yeah, he's one of the main dudes that's like in control in the beginning of the game. You had O'Shea Jackson Jr. as Roken. I thought he was great too.
Yeah, I mean, the character was kind of needs a bit more to him.
Well, he didn't have like
there wasn't a lot going on with him. So, which means we're probably going to get a show for it because that's the way Disney works now.
Yeah, well, so the thing
we'll get a Reva show. We'll get
everything
a Rican show.
Yeah, we'll get a So the thing that was funny about this is that as soon as O'Shea Jackson came on camera, Amber goes, "He looks like Ice Cube." It's fucking Ice Cube's kid.
Yeah.
Because I think he played Ice Cube in the in the
was it NWA? Is that what the movie was called?
Yeah, it was about NWA. Yeah. Everything, but
I think that was just the name of the movie, right?
Well, I can't remember off the top of my head. If you put a gun in my mouth and was like, "What's the name of that movie, motherfucker?" I'd be like, But that said, I can click this because I can't imagine. He's got a whole hell of a lot underneath his belt, so it should pop right up. So Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
Which was the 2015 movie where he played his dad, Ice Cube, and he was great. And I was semi-right. There's not a whole hell of a lot here because they just repeated Godzilla in succession. So yeah, there's not a whole hell of a lot here. But the kid's good, and I think he's got a bright future ahead of him.
He was pretty good. It's just he didn't have a
lot to work with.
He didn't have a lot at this point.
Well, he had one of the best lines. Whenever they were like running from the Death Star or running from the Star Destroyer, and he's like, "So what was it? The power converter's out or whatever."
Yeah. We'll need some time to repair this.
Yeah, and it's when they went to go jump light speed or whatever, and he because I was watching it, and Amber goes, "Was that the fucking like?" warp drive failing noise, and I went, I didn't hear it, and then he walked inside and he was like, so the warp drive's fucked. And I was like,
the hyperdrive.
I said, yeah, I said, okay, I guess you did hear it, but I thought that was great.
Yeah.
So you had Jimmy Smits, and that was the biggest thing for me in this series. I fucking love Jimmy Smits.
I
So
only know him as Bail Organa.
so yeah, well, I'm not gonna go into it. There's a lot of stuff that he's been in the past, and he's just a wonderful actor. Um,
We had Flea in a couple episodes.
yeah, that was kind of weird, right? And especially since I'm like looking through all of this, he does not pop up in here once.
I think you're doing the little scrolly thing. You have to actually click on it and look at all the actors. Because 2 episodes is probably not as much as some of the other people.
That's true. But anyway, so that's all the big bigs that I wanted to mention. But yeah, as a show, I liked it a lot. I did. It kept me entertained. You had a lot of build up episodes. But like finding out that like some of the Jedi are still like floating around out there, and that's not something I'm going to ruin, because when it happened, I didn't catch it. And then Amber was like, "Oh my God, do you realize what this means?" And she started talking about like, you saw this and you saw this, and like this thing was carved into the wall here, which means that this person's alive. And then
I didn't go back to look at any of the carvings or anything like that.
yeah,
I just like when they showed off the Jedi popsicle room.
yeah,
Like, are these people dead, or are they like just frozen so that they can come back and have their own show at some point in time? Because they showed like one of the guys from Clone Wars, or was it Rebels? I don't remember which one. Like the old librarian-looking guy that kind of helps out people. I think like Ahsoka and stuff like that. He was in the wall, but they're all looking like preserved. Are they coming back? I kind of hope not. I don't want like them to be hunting Jedi, just being like, we're hunting Jedi. Okay, get them. Let's put them in this tube and save them for later. Like, no, kill the motherfucker.
yeah. I don't feel like Sith do that.
No,
so.
they murder, they gag motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, I'm gonna put my lightsaber through you, and we're gonna put a new shirt on you and drop you in formaldehyde. So,
I hope so. But as we learned, putting a lightsaber through you is not at all fatal.
well, if the lightsaber didn't kill him, then drowning in formaldehyde did. So, but it's Star Wars. Maybe it's aerated formaldehyde. Who knows?
It looks like amber. Like they're just gonna like bring them back like Jurassic Park.
Yeah, yeah.
And I hope they don't. I want like they can be dead. It's okay.
No, you want that finality?
Yes.
Okay.
Like it's okay if Sith and Quitters kill Jedi. I know it's evil.
But that's what makes them evil.
But that's the point.
Yeah, that is the point. Most of the people that I saw, like, I didn't recognize any of the people.
There were a couple in there I recognized.
I think there was a Bothan.
There might have been.
I think there was a Bothan in the show.
I think there was one guy that was in like Clone Wars. I think I saw like the one, but I don't really remember.
Yeah,
I didn't pause and like look through the things. I didn't care enough.
Yeah, I didn't do a whole hell of a lot of research, but I watched that like Ryan Arias stuff where he's like 61 things you didn't notice. I'm like, he always is very thorough, and the thing I love about him is like when fans bring certain things up that he didn't see, he always gives them the nod and says, "This is what this person said." So the guy's a very honorable YouTuber, and that's why I try not to refer to a lot of stuff or like look up a lot of stuff, because I don't feel like I'm biting someone else's game.
Yeah. I don't want to parrot someone else's opinion or steal things that they notice or whatever.
So our opinions are uniquely ours, but maybe a little bit more boring since there's not a lot of fun facts to it. But but yeah, there's not a whole hell of a lot more I want to talk about.
No, not really. I mean, there's enough in here that I liked. There was more positives than negatives, and most of the stuff is just stuff I wasn't interested in, not stuff that I disliked. So like I didn't want to see Little Leia, but it's not like when they're showing Little Leia, I'm like, I fucking hate this. It's like I don't want to see this.
Yeah,
it's just kind of not what interests me.
Somebody was doing the whole thing. So just to address a couple of things. So someone was like, well, if Leia like ran around and had an adventure with Obi Wan, how come she acted like she didn't know who he was? Like later on in episode 4. And, they covered that where it was like, we need to keep our relationship low profile because, it could be dangerous.
Yeah, so, but that also doesn't fly when like after he dies, Leia goes over to Luke and she's like, man, I'm sorry you lost your old dude. Sorry about that. If that was like, my old friend Obi Wan just got gacked. I got to maintain that secret that I never met him. It's like, no, she never fucking met him.
Well, maybe in the future episodes where she's like super attached to him or something like that, and he's like, you don't remember me.
No, they didn't do that.
It could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen.
It didn't fucking happen.
But I mean, honestly, if enough people bitch about it, like, Favreau's going to go back to the fucking table and be like...
We'll get a Rogue 2 movie where they patch that non-existent plot hole too.
I mean, it could happen. But yeah, like, I thought it was fine because she is a very diplomatic, she knows how to she knows how to be around people because that's, who she was raised to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fine with it. I don't have to have.
No, I wasn't huge on it.
I mean, I didn't have to have everything match up perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, I really don't feel like she was that close with Ben because, she got matched up with him. She didn't really like him, and she got kidnapped. She figured out, oh, they're not here for me, they're here for you. So my life's in danger because of you.
Which is why when he showed up at the end of the series, she was very indifferent about seeing him.
Yeah.
No, she was.
I'm just saying.
But he like, it's like, I'm gonna leave Tatooine real quick, fly to Alderaan, hand her her toy, be like, all right, see ya, and then get back on my ship and leave. He didn't hang around or nothing.
Well, he just basically was like, hey, man, your mom's cool. Maybe that's why she doesn't like him, because he was just like, yeah,
can't stay, gotta go.
Your mom was like this and your dad was like this, but I can't say anymore because spoilers for you. Yeah. So,
but I mean, she obviously had a connection with him.
Yeah,
and that doesn't exist in the previous movies, or like it doesn't exist in the original trilogy.
You know what?
She never once talks about Ben Kenobi or Obi Wan Kenobi again through any of those movies because she didn't know him. She didn't care.
I'll say this. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that are in my family that when I go to reunions, when they think that I see them, I'm going to be like, oh my God, I fucking like you. But I'm just like, whatever, motherfucker. Hi.
Did they save your life?
Could have been.
Maybe. It's not. She didn't fucking know him. So it just makes that. That's what I didn't want to see it.
Then why would she ask for him? Help me, Obi Wan Kenobi, your only hope.
Because you're flying by a planet, getting shot down by the Empire, and you start flipping through the fucking Rolodex. And you're like, oh fuck, my dad knows an old war buddy on this planet. He doesn't like the Empire.
What Rolodex? He's a fucking hermit. Nobody knew he was there.
It's a fucking. She would not. I mean, Rolodex figurative. I mean, of course she knows he's there. Because Bail Organa, they're like, we're fighting this war against the Empire. Here's some of our allies, and it's kind of, you're going by a planet like Obi Wan Kenobi. He's on Tatooine. If you ever need him, there we go. She's not talk. She doesn't talk to him with the familiarity of like, one point in the past, you fought with my father in the Clone Wars. Not like, Obi Wan, I need you. Like, get this to the thing. It's. She doesn't know him.
So I don't feel like they're really gonna do that. Like, because they're already talking about doing a second season. And I'm telling you right now, if it's 6 episodes of fucking Ben sitting around on a sand dune eating fucking wampa steaks off a stick and watching Luke through fucking binoculars, that's not going to make for a good show.
No, it's if they do another series, it's kind of the way this one ended off. Kind of made it seem like he's going to be in and out of Tatooine because he's kind of like Owen and Bruce seem like they're taking care of him pretty good. I don't have to be here all the time, always watching him, and instead just be nearby just in case. Because he's gonna do his own training. He's got some other shit to take care of. I think he's gonna be doing shit.
Okay. I mean, you know what? I'm fine with it. I don't need everything to fucking match up perfectly.
It's dumb, but it doesn't bug me enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank God you said that because it's just like the people who are just like the show is trash because of stuff like that. Like whatever.
Like I said, I still give it a 6 because there's enough stuff in I like. It's just they like don't give a shit about like canon or whatever, which makes me sad a little bit.
Well, it's like, what are we gonna do? Like we need the show to happen for this. So what are we gonna do that's going to make how she talked to Ben? Like, what are we gonna do with that? And like, my only thing was he's gonna fucking mind wipe you. You know, like you don't remember me saving your life or something like that.
Which would have been better. I would have liked that a little bit better.
It still could happen.
And still, I would have liked it.
It still could happen. We got a very young Leia. We got a very young Luke. I was glad that Luke didn't use powers.
Yeah.
Like, because I was waiting for that to fucking happen where he fell and he was just like, no! And then, like, something happened. Like, I was waiting for that to happen, but thank God they didn't do that.
And he never actually saw Reva's lightsaber or anything either. So, I mean, they at least kept Luke separate from it, which is what I wanted. I didn't want Luke. I didn't want Leia. I didn't want any young children... Any young previous characters in it. I don't need that shit. I don't need to see little Han. None of it. Leave it the fuck alone.
So Luke was in the house when Reva first got there.
Yes. Isolated in a room.
And Reva came in with her lightsaber popped.
While he was crawling out.
Okay.
He was in the process of leaving the hole.
Okay. I mean, he knows what Jedi are. Like, but he doesn't really know much about them.
Yeah, I think that was the legend or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, Baru and Owen told him they were getting raided by sand people too.
True.
So
yeah.
just a sane person's coming through the thing. Get out.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would have been like, you lied to me when I didn't hear the. So, because they got to do that thing. But that was one thing when he's creeping through and Reva's walking through the fucking, the pass and everything. I was waiting for fucking Jawas to be like,
yeah.
I was waiting for that shit.
I was kind of hoping you'd get gagged by a couple of sand people just because.
Yeah, that would have been funny, but then you had to have the redemption arc. And then the people could change thing, even though she's already done some pretty terrible stuff.
Yeah.
So
she's talked about getting kids already, but this time is different for some reason because she was stabbed.
I was fine with showing the younglings because it started off with Order 66, which I thought was cool, and we got to see more Anakin walking in and that's fucking youngling punching bag time. So I was okay with it. But yes, it was very transparent that as soon as we saw her, Amber was like, I bet that was the.
Yeah, that's the Inquisitor. Yeah.
So, but yeah,
it's spoiling shit. Which you don't to get your punchy opening, you spoil a reveal later, and I don't think you need to do that.
Well, it's from now on, don't put them right in the camera. Make this fucking white kid A, and she's back here, just so later on they can be like, see this person back here? That was Reva. So stop putting them in the forefront. But yeah, no, there's other little things that I could broach, the whole why didn't Anakin jump and why didn't where was the Force jumping? You didn't need that shit,
man.
Not
really.
But it was funny whenever Vader did the thing and sunk him down. I really wanted Vader to be like, "I've got the high ground now, bitch."
Yeah, it's the same thing I thought too.
I really wanted him to say,
"He's got the high ground now."
But you can't.
You can't do that.
It would ruin the feels.
That's dumb. It's a funny joke.
Yeah.
But it's not. You don't put that shit in the show, which is good. I'm glad that if they would have ruined the moment if they put that in the show.
Well, there's certain things that can lend to it, the first time Benedict Cumberbatch and Robert Downey Jr. faced off and
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah, I wanted a no shit Sherlock, which I would have been fine with it. I would have been fine with it because that's totally Tony Stark. But anyways, would you recommend Obi Wan to a random passerby in the street?
To a non-Star Wars fan, no.
To a Star Wars fan,
there's nothing in here for a non-Star Wars fan. To a Star Wars fan, I think there's enough in here that if you can overlook the fact that they don't give a shit about your canon, about their canon, about any canon, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit.
See, if I'd have known that was your angle, I would have read into it more, and found ways to counter you because I didn't feel like there was anything too forced.
No, not. I don't know. There's interesting stuff in there. They don't give a fuck about past things. They'll just run over that shit. But there's interesting story elements to it. Old Obi Wan is interesting. I liked Tala.
He's a thief.
I liked Kamal Nanjiani. He was interesting.
He was awesome.
I liked Darth Vader. Mm-hmm. And what was
the double voice?
That was good.
That was fucking dope.
But also from Rebels. So.
And he keeps getting that fucking helmet cut, right there over that left eye or whatever.
That was the other side, I think, against Ahsoka. But
whatever.
No, it's the left eye. It's different, guys. It's the other eye.
Well, see, that's to your point. Not to interrupt you, but to your point, just before it goes away in my head. So in Rebels, he gets his helmet, and pristine skin with the red glowing hate eyes. So it's almost like the lightsaber. They're just I'm gonna draw it back so it goes around your face.
Well, it's more of that they hit armor and the armor splintered.
Well, yes, me. They don't give a shit about armor physics.
They don't because stormtroopers die so fucking easy that's kind of annoying.
They just need to stop making them wear that armor.
I know why even wear that shit? I know Beskar is supposed to be look, it deflects every bullet, but I'd like to see a stormtrooper get shot and him being and then keep going. He's wearing armor and he got shot and it kind of it dulled the blaster bolt that it still hurt, but he's still alive. And maybe you have to shoot stormtroopers twice and then they'll die.
Yeah, whatever you get shot, that piece explodes.
Yeah, or something. Rather than just you get shot, he's and then they're dead immediately. We got shot in the leg, dead.
So
hit with a rock, dead stormtrooper.
That's almost like a
stick with a stone on it, dead stormtrooper.
Hot shots. Grab a handful of bullets and just throw them in.
Yeah, no.
I don't. Gwendolyn Christie, Chrome Stormtrooper, I believe hers was blaster reflective. The chrome armor. So that's one Stormtrooper that you saw that like could like bounce stuff.
They should put more of that shit.
I'm just trying to raise some of my geek cred here.
It's, well,
There was
basically anything you feel like they did it in the sequel trilogy. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm just saying, like, when you said, I want to see Stormtrooper armor reflect one thing, some nerd went. And then I was like, yeah, well, Gwendolyn Christie's character.
She's not a Stormtrooper.
She's like a commander.
Yeah, it's different.
Stormtrooper commander.
Well, she's also wearing different armor. If they, because they use the Death Troopers. If, like, a Death Trooper gets shot and his armor deflects, he's not a Stormtrooper, he's a Death Trooper. But I don't know that we see that necessarily either.
I think Death Troopers, aren't they the robots?
No. Death Troopers were the ones in Rogue One, the black, all black.
It's hard for me, like the Death Troopers and like the robot things from fucking Mandalorian.
I don't remember what they
were
those
very
ones.
Similar. I've got the toys downstairs. I can go get them.
But
anyways,
I've complained enough about Star Wars. I think as a Star Wars fan, I'm going to complain about Star Wars and still tell you I like things. But like I fucking hate all the shit. It just bugged me. I guess that's the thing. I don't hate it. It bugs me, and we're talking about it, so I might as well air what bugs me.
I mean, there's always going to be something to complain about. When the prequels came out, I complained about everything.
And yeah, there's stuff to complain about those too. But I also, save for like Phantom Menace, I kind of like the prequels.
I mean, they were okay, but it's like
I kind of like.
There's always it's almost like I feel like we're Dante and Randall right now arguing about this because like they always do the whole the Death Star wasn't built by stormtroopers, it was built by contractors. So when the rebels blew it up, they just killed a bunch of contractors. Yeah. Or like, how do you figure this person lived when this thing happened? And Dante's like, the Force, and he's like, that's your answer for everything. Yeah. It's they're not going to be able to knit everything perfectly together because the first time I saw a Naboo Star Cruiser, I was like, that is better than anything I've seen the rebels flying around. Why is that ship so fucking cool?
It is cool.
And then like my friend was like, well, that was before like the Galactic Empire took in the Inner Rim, and like now parts are hard to get. So it's like, so you're telling me every X-wing came from the same fucking trash dump, like and just they used like this trashy ass pieces to build this. It's like that didn't make any sense to me.
It's because the prequels came after the original trilogy, and the technology we had made things better looking.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Like, I understand it.
Yeah. You don't, like, the in-universe reasons. Some of that shit you could throw away to be like, whatever. And some of it bugs you. I mean, and what bugs you and what doesn't is different for each person.
Just because of people like you, Nick, when they do the season 2 of Obi Wan, he's going to show up to Leia and be like, Leia, I know that your ship was close to where I was, and I didn't come out and help you. And she's like, you're dead to me, Ben. And she's gonna walk away, and you're like, "Oh, that's why she didn't acknowledge him." Like they're gonna have to like ham fist some shit in there to make Star Wars fans happy.
They're not going to. They don't care.
Yeah, well, I mean,
because
they did something,
you know what? I'm subscribed to Disney Plus, and I watched it.
Yeah,
they got me. I'm not buying the toys.
Well, then they didn't get you because
I don't really buy a lot of toys. I think I've got a second sister toy.
I've got a lot.
Yeah, I know you do.
I've got a lot.
I mean, I guess I have to do it like this. Look, there's a Darth Vader. There's an Obi Wan. There's a Leia. Didn't you put another one up there?
No. So, bought for Amber. I bought this at Walgreens for like $6, and then I got this I think from Hasbro Pulse for full price. But it's fucking Vader, and he looks dope. So I don't begrudge that buy at all. But yeah, Jackson, if you're watching these, please don't take these things out of the package. Just sell them in package and go to school. That's the hope. At least for the few figures I buy, I do take them out of the package and I display them. But then you never touch them again. Or are you in like your room like Rick Moranis saying this, oh, princess, you look so good. They're there to be looked at. Yeah, well, I can see it perfectly fine through the packaging. And it's not going to stay there, is it? What do you mean? It's not going to be right there on display, is it, for you to look at? No, it's going to go down in a bag. Yeah, okay. And then I'm going to put it in storage, and then one day Jack's going to open it and be like, oh my God, look at all this shit. Look how much my dad loved me to buy me all these toys. You have any idea how much love is there if I'm buying toys for me that I'm intending to go to him, and I don't take him out of the fucking packaging? I want to play with this shit. But I don't, because it's worth more if you leave them in the box. Now, Jack, if you're watching this in the future and you do decide you want to take some of this stuff out, your mama is going to tell you a few things that you cannot take out of the packaging because it's guaranteed to be worth a lot of money. All the other shit, go to town. But that's your college education. Now, I'm saying this in 2022. I know for a fact the collector's market is going to bottom out at some point, and all this stuff is going to be fucking worthless. And if that's the case, I'm sorry, but I do intend on taking you to a lot of vacations and stuff in the future.
Once people get tired of Star Wars.
I don't think that's going to happen, but
I don't know.
I think it's going to be anything like superhero movies, Superman and stuff like that back in the day. People loved that shit, and then they got tired of it, and it went away. And then it came back, and I think eventually we're going to hit a fucking wall.
But Star Wars is also... Superheroes is a genre. Star Wars isn't a genre, it's an IP.
Yes, but everything happens in rotations. So, like, you know...
Maybe. We might get a lull and then a nostalgia boom, but I don't think Disney paid $4 billion for Star Wars. We're getting no Star Wars lull.
Yeah, well, I mean, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and they're basically pumping stuff out as fast as they can right now. So it's going to get to a point where people are just like, fucking enough. Like, James right now is there. He does not want to watch any more fucking superhero shows just because he's going through superhero fatigue. And I know a lot of other people that are doing it too. I'm still perfectly fine because I think a lot of the stuff is engaging.
I grew up reading superhero comics, and it's one of the things that's not necessarily gotten super boring for me. Star Wars is getting there.
Well, it's
like this May the 4th we watched the first episode or A New Hope.
Go watch it.
And I'm like, I'm not feeling this movie as much anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
It's still... New Hope has never been my favorite.
No.
Like, Empire Strikes Back, I can sit down and watch that movie over and over and over again, which they need to make next May 4th, like, show up, or we need to find some excuse to watch the next movie, because I want to get those series out there. But, yeah, like, A New Hope, the only part that always gets me every single time is the medal ceremony at the end. I fucking love that part. Because I love that music.
The music's always
yeah,
fucking good.
the music is fucking tits.
Which, like, we were watching, when I was watching Obi Wan, and they didn't do a Force theme at any point in time. I'm like, man, you just got the music. I know you want to write your own music, but at the same time, you can just throw in the Force theme.
Didn't they not do the Imperial March until the very end?
I think, did they do it once? They might have. I mean, that's Vader's theme.
Somebody was, well, I thought that was more of the Emperor.
It's the Empire, whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think in the second movie, isn't that when it first shows up and he, like, Vader lands and is walking down during the march, and you got the Imperial March? Because, I mean, it's just kind of
Imperials, like, walking around and stuff, like, looking menacing and walking around.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do it for the Emperor, they do it for Vader. I'm pretty sure they've done it for other people in the show, too. But, like,
but whenever you have people staring into the sunset, who is a Force character, it's like, oh, look at this. I want to hear the Force. I want to hear the Force theme.
Oh, sorry, I did it wrong. Yeah, if I would definitely recommend this show to somebody. First couple of episodes, if you're okay with, like, watching Obi Wan be a space hermit that's stealing meat from his employer, I mean, yeah,
the employer would.
He's kind of a dick. That does not mean.
Well, I mean, he's calling end of day when there's still meat that's not out. Like,
yeah, they just leave it sitting.
They just leave it sitting there. So you might as well take a sliver.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's not like they're like, hey, we're going to wrap up in 10 minutes. We're going to finish this line and then be done. It's just like, man, fuck this.
Well, that bantha
job
meat,
over.
That bantha meat, it
gotta
stays
be
good.
ripe.
It stays good forever.
Apparently.
Yeah, they want to age those steaks. But all right, so I'd say we beat this Wampa for about all we can.
Yeah.
So
I didn't expect to talk about. Well, to be fair, we didn't really talk about this for an hour.
That's our format.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
That's pretty much it.
You stay on target, and I'm just like, oh, look at this, look at that. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that.
I don't stay on target either.
Well, I mean, there's a reason we're called the Inanities.
There is.
So, all right. So, join us for our next video. We're going to watch.
Who knows what?
Yeah, but I'm not sure. Like, what's the next holiday or show? So we're going to do a Miss Marvel eventually.
Yeah, which I think will be 3-ish weeks before that one gets.
Are you watching The Boys?
Not yet. I was going to wait till it's all out. I didn't want to do another one episode or 1 week at a time thing.
Okay. Yeah, we need to talk about The Boys. So, because this season is off to a fucking bangaroo. So it's been.
We might be able to throw out Stranger Things once the season wraps up as well.
So I think that's in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Because they're just. I think it's just like a couple more.
I think
episodes.
it's July 7th. The last few episodes comes out, something like that.
I think it's like 3 or 4 more episodes, but yeah. So
We've got more things to talk about than we have time to record things we want to talk about. So we'll pick and choose which ones we want to talk about.
that is a no shitter. Like, it's funny because like 2 months ago we were like, oh, we got this buffer of videos, and now it's like I feel like we're running right in front of them. But it just shows you our commitment to you and how much we love you to keep putting out these videos. So
I know, so many bonus videos. Like, this is a nice little bonus video.
it's just, first you make the content, and then your friends take pity on you and
Watch.
share it to other friends.
Thanks, friends.
And
Take
then-
pity on me.
And then you get the $1.25 a month or something. I don't know. But yeah, do all the things. Comment down below. What's your favorite Star Wars movie, show, or episode? Like, tell us.
Now, have you seen Obi Wan? Would you recommend it to people? Mm-hmm. Are you going to be talking about it in a month?
What are you looking forward to that's coming out? Or what character would you like to see a show based around?
Yeah, there's that whole list of future Star Wars projects. Are there any that you're looking forward to? Let us know.
Rogue Squadron.
Was that one shelved?
It was shelved, but I think that they're doing it again.
Okay.
Because everyone's talking about it, but I want to see it so bad. Because that was my favorite Star Wars game of all time. It's so good.
Yeah.
Do not tell me you don't like this game, or you can get the fuck out.
The game was fine. I'm not interested. Like the only project I think I'm interested in is the Ahsoka one. I don't know that they've thrown up one in that huge list. And I'm like, man, I need to see that. At this point in time, put it out. I'll check it out.
The only thing I'm looking forward to seeing in the Ahsoka one is Rosario Dawson, because I fucking love that woman.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, but I could give two shits about fucking Admiral Chiss and
Thrawn.
whatever his name. He's a Chiss, right?
He's a Chiss.
People still knew what I was talking about.
Some people don't.
I don't give a shit about Ezra Bridger.
Not really.
I'd like to see it if he's with Chopper, because I fucking love Chopper. Zeb, I'd love to see him. Sabine, God knows what she's off doing. Who am I missing?
Hera.
Hera, she's okay.
I like Hera.
Yeah, she's okay, but like we know that she showed up in the big fight because there was like a Captain Syndulla that was flying the Ghost
And
at
the
that
Ghost was
point.
there.
So, yeah.
All right. So let's put a pin in this one. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Or, fuck you.